Bonjour, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. My name's James.
And I'm Paul, and this is James and Paul Try It All.
In today's episode, we want to share with you our recent experience at the Eiffel Tower Restaurant at the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Along the way, we'll be showing you some amazing views,
Unbelievably delightful food,
and the one-of-a-kind dining experience that you can only find on the Las Vegas Strip.
This was a meal that the both of us have been wanting to enjoy for the longest time, and I'm so happy that we are finally able to cross it off our list. While this was easily the most expensive meal that my husband and I have ever had together, it was worth every penny to savor the delicious French cuisine and share this experience with you, our viewers.
So be our guest as we share our dinner from beginning to end and take you through each delectable course.
Get your appetite ready for this fine dining adventure of James and Paul Try It All.
Bon appetit. The Las Vegas Strip has no shortage of fine dining choices to offer its visitors, but I must say that this was a truly unique experience.
The restaurant itself is located just less than halfway up the Eiffel Tower at the Paris Hotel. It is actually a half-scale replica of the original Eiffel Tower in Paris.
The Eiffel Tower Restaurant in Las Vegas also takes inspiration from the actual Madame Brasserie restaurant, which is located in a similar position in the Las Vegas Tower's Parisian counterpart. Now, before we dig into our dinner, if you enjoy learning about Las Vegas or other travel and dining experiences, I want to please ask you to take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with all of our future content.
It really helps us out and allows our videos to be seen by more people like you. Don't forget to click the bell icon to receive notifications whenever a new video is released.
Let's get back to the episode. Now, your visit to the Eiffel Tower Restaurant starts with a breathtaking elevator ride halfway up to the tower and into the restaurant itself, depositing you right at the entrance to the kitchen. I must say that I love a restaurant that's not afraid to let you see behind the scenes. Now, we booked a window-side table, and this allowed us to have a bird's-eye view of the Bellagio fountains. However, with the grandstands being put up for F1 at the time of filming this, your views may differ from ours.
Window-side tables do have an extra charge when you book your reservation. At the time of our booking, we paid $75 for the guaranteed window table. For us, it was worth the upcharge to see the Bellagio fountains out in the distance, as well as the beautiful views of Las Vegas Boulevard.
While it is admittedly costly to book a window-side table, we do highly encourage spending the extra money if it's in your budget. But if the window view isn't a high priority, you can still enjoy an amazing meal without it.
We also recommend making your reservations well in advance, as this restaurant does have a high demand and it can book up completely. I cannot say this enough about dining in Vegas. Make your reservations for dining as soon as you can. You do not want to arrive and have to wait hours for a table, or even worse, not be able to visit the restaurants that you want to visit.
Now, if you're celebrating a special occasion, you can also add a fresh cut rose, which will be waiting at your table for your special someone. There's no doubt in my mind that the Eiffel Tower Restaurant is a great choice for celebrating with those you care about.
And if you love to cook, there's even an option to add on a beautiful velvet-lined cookbook that features recipes from the restaurant itself.
I can't wait to have a fancy French meal at home. Now, for our starting courses, we of course had to go with a classic bread service that came with a wonderful rosemary butter.
That butter was so creamy and it complemented the bread very nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. The bread was crispy on the outside, but nice and chewy on the inside. Beautiful crumb, lots of air bubbles. It definitely was a really good bake. Classic French bread. I could literally eat bread loaves all day long, though. So, but you can see right there, look how gorgeous that is.
It just melted in your mouth when you ate it, and when you paired it with the rosemary butter, it was perfect.
Right, right. Now, considering how much we had to eat, though, we couldn't fill up on bread.
So we also got some cocktails. I went with the Eiffel Affair, which came with a whole bunch of fruit inside of it.
They literally gave you a spoon to eat the fruit afterwards.
So it was almost like having a cocktail and dessert at the same time.
Right. I just went with the Moscow Mule because I was not feeling fancy like that. Now, we did, of course, have to indulge in foie gras. Now, say what you will about the cruelty aspect behind foie gras. I know it's cruel, but it is delicious. It's one of those things that you so rarely get to enjoy because of the high price point, but I thoroughly enjoy foie gras.
It paired really nice with that fig compote and that frisee, which gave it just an extra texture on top of those nice toasted pieces of toast.
I was in savory, meaty goose liver heaven right there, so...
I mean, it was some of the best foie gras that I have had.
Yeah, absolutely. All in all, obviously, for a meal like this, it felt like we had to invest in the foie gras despite the high price point. But it was definitely worth it. For our next starting course, it seemed like an absolute no-brainer to, of course, choose the escargots à la Bourgogne. Now, of course, everyone generally knows that escargots are snails and a French delicacy. Now, these are typically going to be served to you in a small escargot cast iron pan here, topped with parsley, butter, and little tiny puff pastry caps. This truly is a delicacy that I encourage people to try and get over that hump of being afraid of eating snails, because they really are delicious and one of my absolute favorite French dishes.
They're actually one of my favorite appetizers to order at any French restaurant. So anytime that we have had French food, escargot is always the first thing that I will order.
Mm-hmm. And plus, you have the wonderful aspect of all that delicious melted herby butter. And they always give you a little bit of bread or whatever to dip it in. And that really is the best part. Let's just be honest.
I like how they gave us a pretzel stick for this, because the pretzel flavor paired really well with that butter, and it soaked everything up amazingly.
I can taste it just thinking about it. I do wish that this was something that was more widely available beyond French cuisine. Before we share the real stars of the show, the entrees, we want to give a little love to the sides we chose, the campanelli pasta and the classic potato gratin. Both were cheesy, buttery, creamy, and delicious. Classic French cuisine. For my entree choice, I went with the Eiffel Tower beef Wellington. Now, as any fan of Las Vegas is likely aware, you can't throw a cat on the strip without hitting a beef Wellington, thanks to Gordon Ramsay. But I will be the first one to say that the Eiffel Tower's take on it was impressive. The puff pastry was crisp and buttery, and inside you had a gorgeous filet mignon cooked perfectly medium rare, enrobed by duxelle, and I'm happy to say no soggy bottoms. The puff pastry, the filet mignon, and the duxelle all worked together wonderfully to create a symphony of flavors that melted in my mouth. I was blown away. In fact, I would easily go back and get the same thing again, just to enjoy it once more.
Everything about that beef Wellington looked amazing. Just from how it was cooked, how it cut, the inside of the steak, you could clearly see that it was cooked to perfection.
Absolutely. Amazing quality. And beef Wellington is not an easy dish to pull off. In fact, it's very easy to mess it up. So I was very happy to find that for the price we were paying, this one was near perfect.
Now that brings me into a segue for my entree. I decided to go with the Rossini style filet mignon. It was topped with foie gras and it also had a truffle sauce. Now, if you're also familiar with Las Vegas, they like to go all in on the truffle, all in on truffle flavor, and I was not disappointed.
I'm so sick of truffle.
I love truffle. You can give me a truffle any day and I will enjoy it. Now, as you can clearly see in this footage, I am cutting into that filet mignon. It was soft, it was buttery, and when it was paired with that foie gras, everything just melted in your mouth.
I have to imagine that the foie gras made it incredibly rich, and I'm here for it.
Everything about that was rich, and I paid for it with some indigestion in the end.
I can imagine so.
Now, a meal like this called for an after dinner cocktail, and so you cannot go wrong with a classic Bailey's and coffee.
I personally did not have any alcohol in my coffee, but I will say I drank like 4 cups. It was very good coffee.
Now, they did also bring out a complimentary chocolate mousse to celebrate our honeymoon, and I cannot thank the restaurant enough for this.
It was delightful, rich, creamy, velvety chocolate mousse with a really strong dark chocolate flavor. Nice little touch, especially considering how much we were paying. Now, while we normally opt out for dessert, we couldn't pass up the Eiffel Tower pistachio souffle, served with a creamy pistachio sauce. This classic French dessert was light, fluffy, cloud-like, and absolutely melted in your mouth. All in all, it was a perfect way to end a perfect meal and end our pretty perfect honeymoon, if I might say so myself. In fact, I am very excited to give this a shot at home using our fancy Eiffel Tower Restaurant cookbook. I am very excited to make some souffles.
Souffles are one of my favorite things to enjoy, and as you can clearly see, I was in heaven enjoying every moment of this dessert.
I completely agree. It's too bad that it's something you don't find often on restaurant menus anymore. But that being said, we had a simply divine experience, and we're glad we got to share it with you. Stay tuned for our final thoughts. Alrighty, folks, we've just returned to our room from our amazing dinner at the Eiffel Tower Restaurant. I'm sure I speak for both of us in this case when I say that that was just a truly unbelievable meal. Everything about this experience was so amazing, from the elevator ride up to the restaurant itself, from the nice view of the Bellagio fountain.
It was gorgeous.
Simply gorgeous.
Now, granted, you are paying for that view. When you are booking your reservation to dine at this restaurant, you have the option to book a guaranteed window seating. Now, when I went ahead and booked this restaurant reservation for us, it was at least $75 for the guaranteed window seating. You can add on additional items such as a rose that I wanted to present to my husband, as well as this commemorative cookbook for probably around $60 extra. So all in all, the second that you book your reservation to dine at this restaurant, expect to pay about $150 for that premium seating ahead of time.
As well as the add-ons.
As well as all the add-ons.
I do want to point out that this cookbook is velvet lined. It is just gorgeous. I cannot wait to thumb through it.
Both Paul and I adore French cuisine, so this will be a wonderful, welcome addition to our collection of cookbooks at home. All in all, this was just a truly magical way to end our honeymoon. The total cost came to around $450 for the two of us, so it was definitely one of the priciest meals that we have ever personally experienced together. But that did, of course, include cocktails, coffee, starters, including foie gras, escargot. They had bread service.
Bread service. Yeah, the bread service was amazing. It came with this rosemary and black salt butter.
It was so, so good.
The bread was also nice, pillowy and soft.
Right, but perfectly crisp on the outside. Beyond that, my beef Wellington was probably one of the best beef Wellingtons that I've ever had in my life. It just was so indescribable. I feel bad because I left a couple bites behind, but I was just so full from everything, I couldn't even finish it. But to end our meal, we had the most divine, and I have to emphasize divine, pistachio souffle.
I didn't even know that you could make a souffle with pistachio. But they did it, and that pistachio flavor just came right through. That is how you execute a well-done dessert.
A beautiful sauce, a beautiful pistachio sauce was served with it. It was just the perfect way to end the meal because it was light. I love a souffle. It is literally the epitome of a perfect dessert because it goes down so easily. You know, it's not like trying to eat something heavy like a piece of cake or what have you. It's just light and gives you a little bit of sweetness. Perfect, thing to share with someone. I do also want to just thank the entire staff for taking amazing care of us. They were professional. They were attentive. They were very just well-mannered. And it was, all in all, an unbelievable experience. And hopefully not our last time visiting there either.
I would definitely do this experience again. Yes, it was a big hit to the wallet, but it was worth every single penny.
Yeah, absolutely. However, there are countless alternatives in Las Vegas for a romantic dinner for two. But I do highly recommend the Eiffel Tower Restaurant if your wallet can afford it. I know it's one of many that we have on the list that we would like to personally experience, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to bring you more just simply unbelievable dining here in Las Vegas and beyond, and beyond. I want to take this moment before we wrap up to say that if you enjoy this type of content and like to see more, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, click the bell icon for notifications to be alerted whenever we upload a new video. It really, really helps our channel grow and helps us be seen by more viewers like you. Now, Paul, before we get out of these suits and call it a night, do you want to add any final thoughts?
I think my most final thought is if you have the money and the means to do this experience, make sure that you book that guaranteed window seating. Enjoying this dining experience is perfectly complemented by having that nice view from the window of those Bellagio fountains. If you opt for any of the other options in the restaurant, you probably are only getting half the experience.
Right. However, I would still settle for half the experience because it really was.
I mean, the food in itself speaks a lot, but
it really was worth it, in my opinion.
Get the total experience. Pay the $150-ish in advance when you're making your reservation. It is completely worth it.
I want to thank my amazing husband here for making this happen, because without you, I probably wouldn't have gone there tonight. So thank you.
Aww.
It was really an unbelievable, unforgettable experience. That being said, folks, I think it's time to wrap this up. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch our video. We sincerely hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye. I am very excited now, even more so, especially now that we've just sat down and got this glorious view of the Bellagio. I am eagerly anticipating and waiting for the fountains to start. While the current normal pedestrian viewing area for the fountains is blocked off due to Formula One construction, this is, I think, in my mind, the best way to possibly see the show. I am very excited and I'm very grateful to my wonderful husband for making this happen.